Well, the ban phases are over. It's a couple of mid lane bans out from EG, meaning they can easily flex that Ornn into mid. We know Ornn can play that lane for Jiizuke, and Kumo can play something else as a counter to Sett later on. As Elise comes through a bit late in for Team Liquid, as Broxah adds some early game jungle power.
I mean, this is kind of looking like it is going towards the game plan that I was talking about earlier, where it would be perhaps playing around jungle mid, right? We obviously don't know what the last pick is here for Jensen, but they are saving him counter pick. They have a very dominant early game jungler with this Elise. They have 2 stable side lanes, and that does lead you to believe, hey, maybe they want to try to get something done around mid. There was obviously the Cassio and Syndra ban in Phase 2 coming out from EG, trying to prevent some of the matchups they may feel are going to be difficult for Jiizuke here. He has been a big Zoe fan, a big LeBlanc fan.
Yeah.
Wouldn't be surprised to see either of those come out. Zoe does make sense. It is something that is generally considered pretty hard to exploit. Because you have so much safety, you can play from very, very far back. Look to just farm the wave if you are in an disadvantageous matchup. So interested to see what we find coming out here from Jensen.
Yeah. And also, it continues to emblematize like exactly what this game is going to look like, where Elise does not scale as well as the Sejuani, of course, we expect. And that means we are going to hope to see some aggression out of Team Liquid. I think that to your point about the Varus Tahm Kench lane from last week, Ashe Tahm Kench can have some very good pushing. Jensen's over on Viktor, which has a very good wave clear. You're not looking at solo kills most likely, but a really high damage champion, which does lend some end game to TL if they need it.
Yeah, and it's something where you actually can poke Zoe fairly effectively with your laser, you know, actually using that to sit behind minions, be able to poke over the back end of those ranged minions onto Jiizuke, try to whittle them down. The combo, obviously not as powerful as some of the classic Elise combos, but if you can start with that cocoon, the gravity field will have time to charge up and lock them down for an additional CC afterwards, so that can be quite strong.
Yep, TL lots of ways of engaging fights in general. Even if it's Tahm Kench, like, just ferrying Sett to the backline, who then, like, ults a Zoe forwards, like, even that'll work a little bit. But, yeah, you've got hard crowd control and almost every member of the team, some of which actually fairly reliable.
Yeah, I would say, you know, as long as you're not able to get a flank, a lot of the engage ability is coming out of Ashe, right? There's going to be a lot of onus on DoubleLift to be able to hit that, and that can be problematic when there's champions like Braum who can stand in front, pop up the Unbreakable, and be able to block that. On the other side, I think EG has incredibly reliable engage when you combo Ornn alongside Sejuani, Braum there for follow-up, fishing for, you know, sleepy bubble trouble. I always say that backwards, trouble bubbles.
Sure, you got that.
There are a lot of different ways, but it does feel like overall EG is looking to set up, to poke with Zoe and Ezreal, and then when you get someone low, to utilize all of the hard engage that they have to commit to a team fight, force TL to take that. Whereas I think on the side of TL, you're looking more for skirmishing, more for picks, controlling vision, and utilizing things like the Elise and the Viktor to come out of fog and try to take someone out.
All right, so poke in a team fighting versus skirmish and vision control on the TL side. Let's see who can do it. A battle at 3 and 5. This closes out the first round robin of the LCS 2020 Spring Split. Evil Geniuses and Team Liquid. Teams that were hyped to start out, but one of these squads is starting out 3 and 6. Sorry, I just heard I have to follow.
That's true. You're obligated.
Yeah.
So, interesting to know, a couple of cleanses, multiple cleanses actually over on TL's side. They want to have options to be able to respond to the CC, but also for CoreJJ, especially to be able to actually step forward potentially in a team fight and tank that Sejuani ultimate, cleanse that out, and then kind of step back. For Jensen, he is going to have the cleanse both for the sleep from Zoe as well as from that engage from Svenskeren, just to stay safe in any potential ganks and team fighting. So pretty interesting stuff there. Most things across the board as far as the runes, though, pretty standard. You can see that it is going to be Spellbook on the Ornn. This is something that a lot of players have been liking to play with. If you're looking for any potential kill pressure in lane, swapping to the Ignite later on for 2v2s or even for the potential 1v1 can be really, really effective.
Well, right now the 1v1 is being won by Kumo.
Hit the Q.
He landed the perfect full combo for level 1 Ornn. Q landed.
There's no auto in the perfect full combo?
No, there's no brittle. It doesn't matter. Okay. It's really irrelevant. You know, he just punches you back. I gotta shout out. I always really enjoy when players talk to each other in all chat. And Jensen, when he loaded in, said this is not very good in Danish. Held og lykke, which
I'm sure it was followed.
Translates to health and happiness, or like good luck and happiness, something like that.
To like his champion quote.
Fellow Dane Svenskeren.
You know, it's like
Yeah.
a nice, cheerful little, maybe Gragas I could see.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
I mean, in general, like, Freljord is themed fairly Nordic, so I can see that like, really coming through. It's for Sejuani, I'm sure, you know, she speaks the language. So, you know, if you have ProView, you don't need me to tell you that stuff.
Wow.
You can just look it up yourself.
Leaked.
Yeah.
All right, so up on the top side, you can see Kumo just started with the refillable potion. This is because he actually wants to start with refillable, farm up enough gold, and then generally you will grab a Doran shield from there. Because you cannot buy health potions and refillable and everything when you're already out on the map, this is a pretty common start. You want to avoid trading generally before you actually do have the gold to complete your first item, though. And I would be interested to see if he went for something a little bit different, but taking the really bad end of a trade there,
And I think
gotta
that
be
would
so careful.
really clever, too, because Impact managed to left punch a minion before the trade. So he actually got right punch, which is more damage, and the attack reset left right punch again, and so happened to actually get an even higher damage combo than expected.
Yeah, we'll see if this can actually be punished because Broxah is pathing up. But generally, Kumo wants to be more careful than that. Until you actually have the Doran shield, you don't really want to expose yourself to trading because you're missing all the passive regen that is on that Doran shield for those early trades.
Yeah.
So it actually did cost him both of his refillable potions charges very early on, but unlikely to be able to get Dove. Svenskeren up here. Both
Scuttle
don't
fight.
have smite.
Scuttle fight. But, oh, Broxah doesn't, I don't think he even had to smite it. I think just the Q got it either way. All right, well, smite used on one side, and the Q comes down, and Broxah managed to claim that one, so nicely done. Ties up in camp, says DoubleLift just spit back out.
Yep, and he's just going to be able to path straight on down to that second scuttle. Bot lane Prio is theirs, and Svenskeren was sent back towards base, so it will be a double scuttle start here for Broxah. Going to be feeling pretty good, getting vision on both sides of the map for the squad. You do have to be a little bit careful, though. Zoe is cheating down towards him. And you know, Jensen had actually got a pretty early recall off there. So we'll be able to secure it, though.
Yeah, super early second Doran's ring. That's something that's always very interesting to me. As, oh, ooh, wow, actually, it's very good by Bang. It's a really better trade than DoubleLift there, and the Braum shield comes up plus Guardian. It's like 100 so HP difference. I like that a lot. CoreJJ was out of lane killing a ward. But I'm always very compelled by interesting matchup tech. Like, it's mid lane. Yeah, I do a 3-wave shove into Doran's ring, and that's how I play the matchup out. Like, I think that's really interesting. Because in bot lane, the lane's too long to make those kind of plays. You have to, like, have a full shove, 300 gold recall to be worth it, and even then you take TP half the time. Those short lanes, you actually can do these timing backs that give you breakpoint advantages.
Yeah, and there becomes this kind of mind game around it, right? You know, if you are actually committing most of your mana to trying to push out this wave, and then your opponents can actually prevent it from fully resetting, then all of a sudden you can get stuck in lane with no mana. And it is pretty important to be able to get those kind of early recalls off for Viktor, because ever since they actually did change the cost on the hex core upgrades, it is very difficult to actually save up enough gold to have enough mana to stay in lane that whole time to fully purchase that up. So people often want to get an early recall, go back, you know, get some more items that can help bridge that gap and get them towards their first upgrade.
So going to be sitting on double Doran's ring for the mana regen. Got the control ward there, of course, as well. As Jiizuke is playing the lane pretty close to equal, with a bit of extra CS left on the field. It means Jensen can most likely tie up. Nice little bubble there. Gets the Q drop as well. There's a stun, but spells are on cooldown. Jensen is out of mana, so Jiizuke with a nice trade and a better mana pool as well.
Yeah, and just out of range of the turret there was Jiizuke. So playing pretty well in these early trades, up a couple farm as an advantage. You can see Impact up a little bit of farm, did already get his base off, and not going to have to expend the teleport. So that is a pretty significant advantage for TL. You want to see them now playing towards that dragon. I think they should be challenging for that. When you have TP advantage up on that top side, should be an almost guaranteed take as long as they can execute it well.
Look for that to come through then pretty soon. Nice. Jensen gets the cannon. Oh, you know what? It's okay. It's cast minion, not as important than the cannon. It's like a 5-to-1 ratio there, and a little bit of trade towards core, but he feels pretty safe there as well, as Guardian is now triggered, and they're just fine as the minions go back and forth. Very small CS lead to DoubleLift. Top lane fight coming through again as level 6s are in, and that helps Kumo a lot, of course. A lot of damage in that W.
The early lane control, you know, it's not resulting in a massive gold lead, but has actually gone to TL in all 3 lanes. All 3 lanes from TL, it felt like they were able to get a preferential recall timing. You know, we saw top lane push in, has TP still. You know, DoubleLift, he's playing against a TP Ezreal. He actually already got a base off and is still up in farm, so that's feeling pretty good for them. Svenskeren, though, looking for potential wraparound gank here, but they do know Elise is in the area, so he does end up just kind of checking on that Infernal, seeing if it was started up.
So 7 minutes in as we fight continually in the top hand side. Impact walks away from the auto attack after the W lands. That's where about half the damage that spell comes from, essentially, is the actual brittle slam. So, yeah, still doing a good job up there. You can see the 8-ish CS difference. As you mentioned, TL winning a little bit each lane. That's got to feel pretty good. Part of my mind still thinks that I'm afraid of the Elise versus Sejuani difference kind of as time goes on. I think otherwise the matchups are reasonably close, but it's a really small piece of the puzzle.
Yeah, I mean, I agree though, right? You know, the longer it goes in this game where Elise has not been able to pull off any ganks or anything like that, Sejuani is really happy to just trade farm in a matchup like this where Elise has so much priority over you in the early game. I don't think EG should commit to trying to steal this at all. You have TP disadvantage. Impact is not even showing to Kumo, so he wouldn't be able to interrupt that teleport, so that is why EG is going to wisely just give it up. But that being said, it's not as though, you know, it's like, oh, it's 8 minutes in, you've lost because Sejuani hasn't died yet. You know, the scaling is an advantage, but Elise can still get a lot done.
Yeah, definitely far from deterministic in that regard, which is something I really appreciate about League of Legends is things can be theoretically true. And you know, yeah, you're probably favored in a given matchup or in a given game state or whatever, but so much comes down to like execution in terms of like, are your hands good? But execution in terms of is your brain good? Can you be in the right place at the right time and play it intelligently that you can outplay most match advantages and most game state advantages? Now, yeah, there is a fight coming on as CoreJJ's over the wall, but EG able to knock down the entire Rift Herald. Inferno was grabbed by TL, but 300 plus gold will go to EG from the Herald Slam.
So pretty nice trade from them, but you have to also pay attention to the fact that DoubleLift was collecting solo gold down on the bottom side this entire time. He is going to be pushing in, and this is a trade we've been seeing more and more of, where in the past, we had been seeing both teams always swap towards Rift and try to challenge for that, and saying, that gets you to the first turret. That is so advantageous. You must challenge this. But now more teams are actually moving towards just saying, okay, you may get first turret, but I'm getting more of the gold directly funneled onto my AD because it's split between less people, and they're kind of prioritizing that. Right now, though, we do have Ornn down on that bottom side, and Ornn is going to be really good at wave clearing this out. But you know, as a result, you can see a couple hundred gold in the advantage already for DoubleLift. He's sitting down here picking up that farm, and TL are going to try to hold as a two-man squad up on the top side. They should be able to. So it's actually more resources kind of committed to this top side from EG, and in the long run, TL gets more gold on DoubleLift. They're actually getting the tower faster, so we'll see. Can they get...
It gets pretty close here. The turret itself, I think, will die first for EG, but again, the timing's still very close together, and the Herald's running out of health.
Yeah, once Jiizuke roamed up, I think that kind of pushed it over because 4 members were there, so we saw TL back off, but Jiizuke leaves, Impact and Broxah move up again, so will they try to go for this dive? I mean, that turret is very low. You could try to just start the dive, finish the turret, and then look for the kill, but they are hesitant to do it because if it goes wrong, that could be, you know, game-ending mistakes.
Diving is Sett, very scary. Elise the same with Repel. There's so much time built out, and they aggressively push the wave clear down. Other things of interest is I want to point out that a regular wave of minions is about as much money as killing Rift Herald, right? It's about it's 100 gold to kill a Rift Herald, and it's about 100 gold for a full wave, not counting a cannon. So that part goes pretty close to equal. The alone time that Ashe had in bot lane is roughly what the Herald charge does. It ends up being a fairly close trade of resources by sitting in the bot side. Here comes the ult engage. A lot of stun's gonna land, but they don't have the damage to kill impact. The shield comes off, flashes the ult. There's a stun in a melee range, but the cannon minion is there to still take the turret shots. But it's ultis down, all 3 used for EG, and no kills come through.
They will get the turret here, though. I think even if CoreJJ actually ults out to the wave, this is finally going to be it going down. It is too low. TL members were very low on health there also. So EG does get the eventual first turret and prevents the loss of that turret on the bottom side. Now, TL is faster on this recall and on the rotation down towards bot lane, so DoubleLift may be able to pick this up before the Braum and Ezreal can actually respond, so we'll have to kind of track how that does play out. But overall, a pretty interesting game state where it wasn't just so typical where you see everyone commit to just going for that rift and then whoever gets it wins. You know, this is kind of the evolution of that, and it's somewhat reminiscent of lane swaps. When we used to see that in the past, and some teams would say, okay, how are you going to play this out? Do you try to greed it out and defend on one side? Do you agree and just handshake on the lane swap? We're kind of seeing a little bit of an evolution.
Core doesn't feel safe enough to walk into melee range of Zeyzal. Could have not abstract, but demolished the turret and might have gotten the kill out of it, but respects the fact that he might have been attacked. Broxah's going to shadow the bottom lane.
Yeah, and if Svenskeren tries to go around here and actually wrap around on the TL squad, he'll be face-checking into Broxah. So TL does have a really good setup here, and they spot Svenskeren.
They're gonna walk in now, 3v3. They find that's not a lot of damage on the Sven. He's supposed to walk away from this one. And TL playing that really nicely. Double out of the turret. Core's ready to save him.
Yeah, I mean, this is a simple setup, but very intelligent, right? You have CoreJJ behind DoubleLift. He also has Cleanse. There's not really a great target to engage on there whatsoever. Broxah is covering what would be the wraparound gank path from the Sejuani. That would make it dangerous for them to be pushing that aggressively also. So it felt like TL really did check all the boxes and kind of guaranteed there was no way that EG could make a play on them while they took that turret.
Well, you can see an 800 gold difference now, and it's Kumo feeling much more comfortable in the top side, but Team Liquid actually up in gold despite losing first turret. Yeah, both teams got all 5 plates. That still fell down eventually, but 150 bonus gold for the first turret in and of itself, and TL is still out farming above that by about 1,000.
Yeah, and 400 extra gold on DoubleLift, which is really where you do want that. He's on the Blade of the Rune King already. That is going to be feeling great for this setup around this dragon. It does feel like this is going to be a challenge from EG, though. They are moving over here. TP is available on Impact, but Kumo's already here, so he would have to come pretty soon if they're going to go for it.
Okay, teleport channel. This is the 5-on-5. Kumo walks up, wins the ult coming down. A great pickup there. Svenskeren grabs it, ult over the top. They've cut out DoubleLift as Broxah has to run back to safety. There's the fight onto Impact.
Oh!
Very tanky. They finally break him down. EG able to kite it back. They take first blood. They take the Drake as well.
A lot of low health bars on EG, but TL lose the dragon. As you say, they don't get the kill either. So Svenskeren coming up big for EG there. That is a hard smite to land. And Broxah even has the advantage in that smite fight against Sejuani. With that execute damage on your Q, that is going to be advantageous, but obviously it's not always so simple.
Really nicely done. Evil Genius is basically tying up the scoreboard now, getting their own Drake as well, and that's going to be a big confidence boost. And EG is starting to shape up a little bit in the back half of the split, maybe.
So here this is one more time. Full Vision was on it. The teleport is coming in. They decide to make the call to rush that down. Smite, it did not look like it even went off for Broxah, so it just kind of gets burst out a little bit before Broxah was expecting it. Then a nice re-engage here. The laser over top of the Haymaker, that Viktor plus Sett combo as they had been broken together, that was quite nice and got a lot of members low, but Impact did lose his life to set it up and they couldn't finish off any kills.
All right, well, we go back to the equal game state now, and you really got to imagine how the teams now want to play it out, because we're into a sort of a more open map state where you're going to make a lot of sort of grander macro decisions.
So this is an interesting dragon to come up. It is going to be that Mountain Soul. And I think it is incredibly strong for EG, right? And even if you're getting less out of it as TL, you have to fight for those dragons because you can't afford to just give over a tremendous amount of additional armor and MR to what is essentially a 3-tank squad, right? That is just going to be way too much.
Well, they're going to step up around this, and Repel has to be used, but might just fall in the bubble. Barely able to walk away from that one, but Herald still goes over to Evil Geniuses. It feels like they've kind of turned the corner. It feels like they're more comfortable and more powerful on the map.
Yeah, they've gotten both of the rifts. It would have been that kind of 2 dragons for the 2 rifts, but Svenskeren had a great steal, so they are coming up ahead, as you say. And, this Mountain Soul, I do think, is going to be such a big point of contention. Normally, individual Mountain Dragons are really not super appealing to a lot of pro teams. They kind of are more willing to ignore those at times and just fight later for the soul. But again, Sejuani, Braum, Ornn, all going to be building a lot of resistances and are going to become ridiculously tanky. And especially for a champion like Elise, who is so dependent upon her burst, if you have Mountain Soul plus a lot of flat resistances with that shield, you become fairly useless.
And you got to be careful then, because you're right, TL could start falling into a little bit of irrelevance. You got to make sure you can stay good against that. The one small saving grace that I think helps TL a little bit is DoubleLift has Rune King, which is current health damage, and the shield is on at full health. You're getting maximum damage for a little bit longer. You work it down a little bit. It's minor, but the math sometimes is there. Mid now being attacked, half HP on that turret. Evil Geniuses charge in the Herald as well, and they break mid turret. That is what that second Herald is almost always for, is breaking mid, and EG get mission successful.
Yeah, very well done. Going to be able to kind of take away that point of safety is pretty important when you're up against a team, with Viktor, with Ashe, with fairly good wave clear. Obviously, TL does have decent frontline damage with the Viktor plus the Ashe, so it's not as though they're going to be completely doomed if they give over a Mountain Dragon, but, will have additional relevance in this game, and I'm excited to see that next fight play out, because both teams have shown that they want to challenge at these dragons, and stop the potential kind of scaling advantage that is going to come from it. That's the win condition that it feels like both teams are chasing, as we're seeing a largely passive game on both sides. And, at this point, you kind of check back in on the Elise versus Sejuani. I'd always rather have the Sejuani at this point in the game.
Oh, yeah.
This is 0-0 Elise at 17 minutes, hasn't really been able to get anything done. And while Elise can have those big moments, the ease of execution is so much on the side of Sejuani. At this point, it has to be a pick out of a brush or something like that. You have to get a flash cocoon on a carry and be able to execute them. Whereas Sejuani really just kind of has to throw out her ultimate and walk forward and tank damage for the carries.
Yep. Well, it's going to be Svenskeren still feeling comfortable getting rid of wards, helping to set up for this first Mountain Drake spawn that EG seem poised to take. TL still up in gold, but again, it just feels like EG's getting more done. It feels like they're the more comfortable team. They're the ones able to push waves more reliably. 20 seconds on Drake's spawn as the Sky's Bloom reveals TL as they move down and try to take control of this pit.
Yeah, and Ornn just hit 12, so first upgrade coming through, the Masterwork items. That's going to be pushing things even more in their favor, that kind of hidden gold advantage. That will be over on their side, but yeah, the contest for Vision does begin. And again, for EG, this comp is largely about getting the initial poke to start out the fight. But Svenskeren getting chunked out here.
Ooh, that arrow could have killed him as well. He did a flash, so maybe only would have burned a flash, but was going to land. But Jiizuke goes for poke, can't quite land it. Sven trying to regen. He W's the Raptor camp, and then lets that kind of give him regen now as well. As looks like EG wants to push in for round 2. Ornn playing very far up. Kumo gonna find some CC and a nice blast cone hit. Pulls an impact as well, and he goes down right away. What a start. EG, a 1-for-0, have control of this river.
Yeah, Jiizuke, honestly, just zoning out the 4-man squad. We saw Impact separated from the rest of his team. He moves forward, and EG just engages on him. They go straight onto the Sett. They burst him down as everyone else was retreating from this Zoe. So it is another one fight from EG. They just had such good setup in that area, really getting the most out of this kind of poke comp. Bang, throwing the Ezreal ult across them. Jiizuke constantly fishing with Qs and pushing them back. Just meant that Impact was split off and does get punished. So here it is one more time. Just watch Jiizuke. A lot of it is the threat of the Zoe Qs. They are retreating away from that. Impact has then been kind of separated from the team. And good job by Kumo here, getting the knock-up and then the presence of mind to step forward and utilize the Blast Cone to push Impact back. I think Impact felt he might have been able to survive there a bit longer and kind of turn around the fight for a potential re-engage. But with the 4-man squad split off, I think he probably just needed to flash immediately out of there and try to regroup with the rest of the team before they looked for any potential challenge.
All right, well, you can see that scoreboard right there. 1,000 gold lead for Evil Geniuses. Just under 10 minutes away from Mountain Soul if they can completely retain Dragon Control in this game. We are, of course, at a pause. I will tell you what that is about when I hear this one, but it looks like we're having the rest talk on the Team Liquid side, so maybe something over there.
Yeah, we'll obviously give you an update, but right now, kind of looking at the game state, it is swinging more and more into the favor of EG. I think they have the easier comp to execute on. They are getting to the later stages of the game, hitting these Masterwork item upgrades. They are heading gold. They have an additional dragon. So, TL, the clock is kind of ticking, right? There is some pressure on them at this point to really start to make things happen. And this is, not a situation that you are normally finding yourselves in as this team over the last couple of years. It's always felt like you just give them the benefit of the doubt that if they're not out of the game in mid-game, they're just going to win a fight, take Baron, and then win, right?
Yeah.
And it hasn't felt like that this year. Doesn't mean they can't pull it off in this one, but...
Yeah, and a lot of the reason they normally win those mid to late game fights is DoubleLift's damage output, which is very poignant here because the bug is that neither team can see DoubleLift, and based on damage charts, neither can I. But like literally,
He's been
DoubleLift
playing well this game.
He's fine. I know it was just so easy. I had to go for it. So DoubleLift has disconnected from the game. He will reconnect. We will hope that gets sorted out. But the champion became invisible, and he's not playing Kai'Sa, so
That's a strange
unusual.
bug.
Yeah, I haven't seen that one before.
Neither have I. I've seen the invisible new ganks.
Okay, yeah, sure.
Those are always surprising.
Yeah, I would expect so.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll get that sorted out. And as time goes on, we'll figure out what that is. DoubleLift has reconnected to the game. Don't know if his teammates can see him, but yeah, he's like in mid lane hitting minions, and Core's like, wait, how are these minions dying? And now everyone else is reconnecting. Core can't see him, so he's going to reconnect, and we'll go through all of that, and hopefully it gets sorted out. That would be nice.
Okay.
Otherwise, go ahead.
We're actually going to go into a pro view replay, I do believe, to see what the players were actually watching here.
That's exciting.
So I am interested to see what that actually looked like, because this is a new bug for me. But yeah, it seems like everyone is actually exiting out and going to be reconnecting. Hopefully that will solve the issue and we don't have to look towards any other more drastic solutions.
Yeah. So until that replay comes up, I want to kind of pick your brain about how you'd feel about this game state. Because I know the comps are... Oh, we got the replay first, so here we go.
Okay, so this is actually a appropriate replay of that previous kill. So it does get devoured up, and
oh wow, yeah. It's Rek'Sai.
He's just sliding
He's
under
playing
the ground.
Rek'Sai.
He's not invisible. He's just hiding. Come on, guys.
He's just T-posing under the ground. This is a known shippable, by the way.
That is actually hilarious.
Send me your... Oh, man. I got to shout out... oh, I'm blanking on his name, but there's someone I follow on Twitter who's like, hey, send me your favorite game and development bugs that like you had to find or were known shippable or whatever.
Yeah.
There are some very good bug hunting stories. The one I want to tell here is there's a squad that was QAing a James Bond game, and they did such a good job, they found 10,000 bugs. And they needed bug number 10,000 just to do it. And it was like, in one of the levels, there's a bunch of world clocks, and they weren't sure if like the time for Tokyo and the time for London were accurate based on the rest. And they're like, well, we know that one of these countries doesn't have daylight savings time. So we've got to go and look through the rest of the game for what time of year it is to know if daylight savings time exists. They actually come out, they figured out that they're 1 hour off because it should be daylight savings time. Submitted the bug, and they're like,
bug 10,000.
all right, we'll fix it. So the clocks in some random meeting room in this game are fixed. I really enjoyed that. Meanwhile, the game has reconnected. On my side,
he's above ground.
Because I didn't reconnect, Ashe is still popping up and down like it's whack-a-mole on my screen, but for us, it's fine.
That's really funny. Is he online now? Now I'm really curious. Oh, yep, he is. Okay, he's still underground.
Yeah. We didn't reconnect, so...
As far as the pros can see, he has returned to the surface. His DoubleLift is no longer a mole people.
We've been told if you just like scrub through time, you'll be fine. I also got bug splatted, so I'm reconnecting now as well. We're back into the game. Let's focus on Evil Geniuses and Team Liquid doing battle once again, closing out the first round robin of the LCS, and we'll see which squad goes up to 4. 4 would tie for 6th place. They would put you in a playoff spot if it was to be only a single round robin run. And as Impact is pushing down to the bottom side, still feels comfortable to fight Kumo.
Yeah, I think for TL and EG as well. There's going to be a pick on the top side.
Oh, Jiizuke is definitely going down. Broxah's on the board, but a fight the bottom side of Flash ult dodges some of the damage, but Impact is running out of health, and Bang just takes him down anyway.
Oh, I guess he just didn't have his Haymaker up there. His passive was fully charged. He must have used that earlier. Looks like a play he might have been able to kind of turn around. Potentially a fully charged Haymaker could have killed Bang, so we have to watch that full one. But good pick on the top side from TL. EG respond in kind in that bottom lane, taking down Impact. But both teams really, I think, just looking more towards playoffs and trying to actually get on form for that. You really want to be at your best going into that. And making playoffs, it doesn't really matter what position you finish in as long as you're really in good form when you get there, right?
Yeah.
There are advantages, of course, of different seeds, but...
Yeah, if you're 5, like the spring playoff bracket is essentially double elim, and if you're 5-6, you're in the lower bracket from the start.
Yeah.
If you're number 1, you get to pick your opponent. So there's a cutoff for like, hey, get top 4, and then you really want to get number 1.
All right, so this is one more time. We'll see how this does go down. But this is the type of play I was talking about with Elise. Oh, I think he was actually trying to... So that looks really funny. What he's doing there, I almost guarantee you can actually use the Zoe ultimate to go over the wall and ward a brush. So I think he was actually just trying to ult over there to ward.
Yeah.
And the cocoon came out instantly. He gets snagged, does get burst down, and on that bottom side, Impact getting picked off also.
Yeah, he had burned W at the very beginning of that trade, and then it was like 2 seconds left on cooldown by the time Bang finished killing him off. So kills it on this side of the map. 1,000 gold difference still between these squads, and I have to keep seeing the praise of Evil Geniuses for putting this together and feeling a bit more cohesive. I gotta say the trademark Jiizuke aggression has been, I would say, reasonably well tempered. I don't blame him for that death. I think it was actually a good play that happened to fail, but overall was a big part of the reason they've been winning some of these fights.
Yeah, I mean, that seemed more like an outplay than a misplay. Right?
Yeah.
That is a pretty standard move to utilize the Zoe R to check a brush and actually drop wards and things like that. Checking even with that paddle star. So quick reactions there from Broxah and Jensen to be able to punish him for it. And they do get their first kill on the board, but so far so good from EG, and I have to say this is kind of one of the most stable games that it feels like they have played. It is a much slower pace. We are used to seeing Jiizuke look for more of these kind of crazy plays that people have been talking about. Sometimes it really works and it looks incredible, other times it doesn't, but it is a more, I think, tempered aggression, right? You know, he was playing, you know, not overreaching for kills around that Dragon Pit. He was just utilizing his abilities to try to zone his opponents, and I do think that's a pretty smart way to do it when you are playing this type of comp. With the poke comps, you don't want to fully commit to a fight until you know for sure you're going to win it.
And now as the map resets yet again, we are 45 seconds away from the Mountain Drake spawning, and Team Liquid able to get a couple of kills once in a while. Trinity Force just upgraded out for Bang, as he's going to feel pretty comfortable. 100 extra health, 100 extra mana, some attack damage, everything else. Pretty much tags every single stat on that item. As a quick rush to a Void Staff comes through for Jiizuke. And if he's hitting frontline, it makes sense. If he's not hitting frontline, you know, a different item would be more valuable for him. But if all you can do is hit the Tahm Kench or, you know, the Sett, then, you know, Void Staff's not bad.
Yeah, and I think the assumption may simply be that CoreJJ and Sett are going to stand in front and tank all the damage, right? But CoreJJ getting very low here.
They're going to walk away. Ultimate comes down. Here comes everything else as well. As over the wall comes the Ornn. A flash to a little bit of safety and just barely TL walks away. Here comes the TP. Impact wants in, but he's got to get himself out of that fight. Puts in the duck. Where's the W? Gets the shield. Kumo, though, not going down just yet. Stopwatch burn for Impact. Will there be the re-engage? Able to walk away. Zeyzal puts up his own shield and walks out, but the health bar's getting a bit low as wards are cleared and no one dies.
Yeah, that one Zoe Q just tanking DoubleLift down incredibly low. I think that's just EG's Dragon now. Teleport is down for it back. He has the base. Jensen's just going to go up to the top side. So, again, another one fight here from EG. It starts as that.
That's good repel.
He could still be dead, to be honest. The timing might be there. Oh,
Spiderlings, yeah. That timing is so difficult. As long as you're in spider form, they eventually become sort of corporeal about 1 second in. And, yeah, they block the bubble.
Well, yeah, I mean, the engage began on CoreJJ, and they actually just were so determined in chasing him down that they were able to push him all the way out, get his summoners, poke out multiple members, secure another dragon. So EG looking better and better. TL are going to need to find some way to actually punish this and to get a good engage onto it. But Zeyzal has been really on point with his positioning. When the turnaround eventually did come, well, guess what? It's a stone-plated Braum with the Unbreakable up, blocking all of your damage. You're never going to kill that guy with those cooldowns active.
Yeah, it's getting tougher and tougher. It feels like EG are doing a really good job. Double Mountain definitely helping. The third one's coming up soon, and that's going to be Soul Point, obviously, which creates gigantic front lines, very stat-efficient tanks, and good luck getting through the damage with just Ashe. In general, the way the math works out is you really do need a lot of heavy attack damage to break these things down. She's going towards the Infinity Edge, but then you got to get your armor penetration right afterwards, and you're just running out of slots.
Yeah, I mean, yes, there is a world in which TL can win from any situation, but I'm willing to say that if EG gets the next dragon, the game is over. I do think that it becomes too damn hard to actually come back, you know, with a 3-tank team, having Mountain Dragon when you are reliant upon picks, when they have the ease of execution. There is always a world in which you can make it happen, or massive mistakes do come out, but I would put it at like 95-5, 90-10, incredibly in EG's favor if they grab this Mountain Soul. And they're one dragon away from doing it, having won multiple fights in a row, so they don't need to force anything.
Yeah, I agree. I think it really does come down to the fact that neither of these teams are particularly nimble, right? It's 3 frontline. I'm going to argue that Elise is kind of frontline here. I mean, she's certainly not like a backline Axis champ, right? Yeah. You're not getting big flanks.
She's frontline. She's just squishy.
Yeah, it's like, look, if you're playing Kennen and Talon, then look, you can just one-shot Jiizuke or Bang and get rid of the DPS. Like that's possible, right? Based on the champs coming out here. But I don't think the TL comp is going to really hit backline reliably. Maybe it happens. Maybe Impact is like the perfect stone play ulti and like actually puts Bang at 10%. Like that. And that's the 5-10% really. Yeah. But, you know, you're not seeing likely flanks here that makes it difficult.
No, I agree. And that's why I talk about this squad as needing to have vision to get picks out of fog, right? Like that is where Elise can get access maybe. But, you know, EG is playing very safely. They're checking all the brushes with Palisars, with sleep bubbles, you know, and then they're moving forward the Braum and Sejuani, who are not able to be one-hit, are not able to be comboed by these members over on TL's side. So it's going to get tough, right? And we can see that the vision line for TL is kind of getting more and more scarce, right? This is their farthest forward vision here. We can see up on that top side, they have nothing really past here. So it's now just kind of this defensive line of vision where EG is creeping theirs forward more and more and more, you know, being able to utilize their frontliners and Zoe to kind of constantly check this out.
And you can see that there's not even any vision inside the Baron pit. Now, thankfully for Team Liquid, EG aren't going for that right now, but it is darkness in that entire river.
And as far as checking Baron, they do have Hawkshot. They do have a blue trinket available on DoubleLift, and one will be coming off cooldown. I think that might be one on Impact. I'm not actually sure. Could be yellow trinket, but either way, there are ways to check. It just becomes very difficult. Even if you know they're on an objective, how do you approach without getting chunked out by Jiizuke and Bang too low to the point where you can't actually take the fight when you get there?
Sure. A lot of difficulty, absolutely. Interesting to see that Kumo has gone for Locket. I actually really like this. I think it actually speaks to the only way you really lose is they one-shot your backline and he pops Locket, and now it blocks the Sett dunk damage. It blocks a Viktor ulti or something, and suddenly that, you know, Ezreal and Zoe survives the fight.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you know, I talk about picks as a way to win, and they do not have that. That is flash forced on DoubleLift. Good flash to avoid the Sejuani ultimate. He would have died. But now, in a minute, when you have this potentially game-ending fight, your marksman player doesn't have flash. That makes it more difficult to navigate. That makes it more difficult for him to potentially, you know, reach backline. If someone gets a CC, he can't flash forward and actually finish them off. So bad going to worse here for TL. And EG just playing a very smart, very methodical, vision-based game where they're denying their opponents, constantly using their poke to secure advantages in these jungle corridors.
So I'm going to count my chickens before they hatch, and you're kind of talking about it a little bit already, is how much of this we attribute to EG having a draft win, EG playing a lot better than normal? Like, you know, if we're going to kind of sum up EG's success in this game, what do you put it as?
I think it's, yes, a draft advantage. It's easier to execute on, but I do think go back one split. Would you have ever assumed TL would lose an even state game in mid game? It never would happen, right? So EG is playing very well, and TL has struggled with, I think, the advantages that they drafted for themselves in the form of the Elise and this early game power to really get anything done. And that's where you have to look over at EG and say, great job playing defensively. Great job not actually dying to those ganks and being able to give up a big advantage, because that is a really big skill in and of itself.
And now they're going for the Baron right as the Drake spawns. I actually really like this because you have to expect TL would look. Yeah, they're trying to go for the Baron right as you think the Soul might have gone down, but EG was there, ready for it. I like the idea, right? It's one of the ways you come back in is you hope you trade Baron for the Dragon, but EG were watching.
And I think this actually speaks to the TL mindset right now. That is maybe a play that works 10 to 20% of the time, right? And that is what they're willing to go for now, because they know they are not able to actually get any team fights happening. They're not able to win and get control of an area in order to even start a team fight. Just constant Zoe poke, constant Ezreal poke, pushing them back. This is Mountain Soul, and EG have a stranglehold on this game.
Not going to be contested whatsoever. The shield's going to come through, no problems at all. 300 to 400 health per member added to every single champion.
And it's not even just that, right? Like, you're looking over at someone like Bang. Bang has just under 2,000 health. Then you're assuming he's near Braum. You have to get through Unbreakable. There's Guardian available. There's Heal on Braum. There's a potential Locket available if Kumo is in range. And there is that Mountain Shield. Plus, he has high mobility, right? And then you start to look at all the difficulty of not only getting to this person, but bursting him down before he has the ability to escape. And on top of that, he has a QSS.
Good luck. Good luck doing any of that right now. The smallest Mountain Shields, Jiizuke, is 250. The biggest on Ornn is just over 400. You can easily call that about about 800 gold per champion in bonus stats right there. 300 gold or 300 health is 800 gold, and that's your median health value, and that's, you know, a lot. That is EG feeling very comfortable.
Yeah, I mean, to put it in perspective, Ornn's sitting at 320 armor, 272 magic resist, right? That is a big amp from the 3 Mountain Dragons that he has. These guys are getting ridiculously tanky. Even Braum becoming like almost a true frontliner. 171 armor, you know, sitting on this character who has Stoneblade actually has.
They broke Sven's passive, they got him to half HP, then the re-engage comes in, and they're just going to kill both the bot lane. Bang dives right in, not a problem for him at all. And there isn't a lot of places left for Broxah to go. That's a flash to the wall. Half HP on like a single auto attack as here comes the rest of the team looking to close the game out right now.
I think they could do it. I just don't think there's much recourse for TL at this point in the game. EG did not make mistakes, did not allow openings for TL, and TL have just been absolutely choked out of this one. Losing that mid lane inhib, I think it's smart. EG doesn't need to rush it, doesn't need to do anything crazy. Go back to Baron, continue playing this smart, patient game that you have been executing on, and things are looking so damn good for them.
Really impressive. Almost a bloodless game for Evil Geniuses. It was a single pick up on the top brush, and it required a pretty nice outplay on the TL side to even get the one kill. Turrets otherwise Rizzy traded equally across, and now we look at the attempt for this Baron, the attempted stop here, but Broxah pushed all the way out. Jiizuke just knocks him down right away, and an Ornn knockup makes a little bit more time come through. Easy spike gonna come in, no problem. Svenskeren grabs that one. Okay, one killer credit back, but Jiizuke just says, hey, my life for ire. Let's make sure we at least knock down the Baron.
Exactly. I actually love that trade there from Jiizuke. You're willing to give your life from there to guarantee there's no chance of a steal, because how does TL come back? It has to be something like that. So yes, the engage comes in on Svenskeren. DoubleLift was trying to weave it around and hit Bang, but Svenskeren's so tanky. Guardian proc comes up, in comes Braum, not even close to really being able to knock him down. Then Bang, flashing forward, pushing out Broxah. He gets sent back to base. The TP is canceled from Impact, who is teleporting into that turret. And EG take that, get a Baron. Jiizuke gives up his life, but takes away any chance of that 50-50.
We're back to subterranean Ashe.
Back underground.
Rip. Yeah, all right. Well, we know Reconnect fixes it, so if it needs to happen, then that'll come through.
Hopefully it's just on spectator side and not actually on the player's side right now. I'm assuming since there's not a pause, it's not on their side.
Yeah, Reconnect's like, you know what? We don't need to see him. You know, it doesn't matter. It's like, use the AFK walk forward and it wins anyway. But DoubleLift is on 4 items. He does have damage output. Okay, I don't think there's enough damage to win this fight anyway. It requires a substantial misplay, but he is on a good power start.
And here's the problem, though. They don't get to attack anyone, right? DoubleLift is strong. Jensen is strong. When do they actually get to hit people? It's just Jiizuke and Bang shooting skill shots at you over and over, and you're playing this mini game where you have to dodge everything, and eventually something hits. And now it's like, well, back to base with you. Go heal up, and they take an objective, and it's just rinse and repeat. EG aren't actually fighting.
All right, well, I think we all know what this pause is for. As summoners disconnect and go to reconnect into the game, we're going to get ourselves back in before too terribly long. You know what? It is what it is. Honestly, I know I made a joke about Dolph earlier. I don't think it's his fault. I think he played fine. I think he and CoreJJ did well in their lane. They got the early push. The first Infernal Drake went over to TL. I think not swapping to Herald and just pushing bot lane is also completely fine. Yeah. Both sides got all 5 plates. You traded 100 gold Rift Herald for 1 wave of CS, which is 100 gold in and of itself. I don't think that was a problem necessary for TL, but ultimately they did drafts for early pressure, right? They grabbed the Elise when a Sejuani is up. They said, okay, we're going to win through early jungle pressure. They had pushing lanes, but their end result was a 200 gold lead that was then answered.
Yeah, and I don't think they have enough engage options against this really heavy frontline poke squad, right? You know, you have DoubleLift with the Ashe arrow. Sure, you can shoot that out, but where is the angle that he's going to thread this through an Ornn, a Sejuani, and a Braum, right? And even if you hit someone, that's just one stun that can be QSS'd by the Ezreal. So it feels like they don't have enough options if they're not playing from a heavy advantage. And perhaps they were just thinking that this is something where, you know, Broxah is going to get more of an edge, and we're going to be able to punish them around objectives, and EG won't do the setup properly, or Jiizuke will overcommit and we'll kill him off when he does that. And, you know, in that world, this game can look very, very differently, but EG has played a largely mistake-free game, and when they do not make mistakes, it does not feel that there is a lot of options for TL's draft to really do anything.
Yeah, it ultimately feels like the team that needs to use the aggressive tools just wasn't able to be aggressive, and either that's not finding the openings or EG playing really, really immaculately.
Probably both.
Yeah, you know, a bit of column A and column B there, and the end result is EG felt comfortable the entire game. Again, we'll point out the early laning phase was pretty solid. There were some good early moves for TL, but you got in a mid game, and it felt all EG all the time. Ever since that first Svenskeren Smite steal, which, hey, props to him, that was a really nice pickup. They've got an extra kill off that as well, worth you know, about 600 gold for the first blood and assist. And at no point afterwards did TL feel like they had a way into the game.
Yeah, exactly. And I think, you know, that was really telling that we saw the 3rd and 4th dragons not even contested. Yeah. Right. You know, that is for Soul. That is something that I called out as likely just GG. I think if that's solo queue, you do forfeit when they actually pick that as this comp, because it's too frustrating to play out the game for too low of a percentage of chance to win. And, you know, they didn't even contest them because they were not able to find ways in. It was not that they didn't want to contest them. It's that they're poked out. They're pushed off. They're not even able to actually, you know, funnel into this corridor to make something happen. And now it's just up to EG to cleanly close this one out. They've got to remain mistake-free here. They want to lock this one up.
Arrow comes in, big shield in the front, decent amount of poke. Broxah half HP, stun comes across as well, and Kumo exactly full health afterwards. The Jensen come in to reach the health bars, and well, TL able to wave clear most of this. Next few spells will come in and should knock down the next cannon. But for now, the poke continues. Nice by Zeyzal, walks in, tanks the Viktor East. The cannon stays alive and it keeps chipping down the inhibitor turret.
And here's the thing, right? CoreJJ and DoubleLift sent back to base, so now you lose a turret on this wave. They get them poked down, they push them back, and this is it for EG. Now even a redemption picked up from Jiizuke.
That is a knockup. There's a pullback onto Ashe, and DoubleLift will stay safe for now, but this is still going to be Impact. Finding a single kill with the backline access, nicely done, but it's traded. Already the Elise is gone, and the Sett is going to join. It's a 2-for-1 advantage to Evil Geniuses, and a 4v3 push. Sure seems easy with a very large gold lead. Ult comes across, not going to deal damage. DoubleLift saves again by CoreJJ. Gets here, the damage tools are up for TL, but isn't even going to be enough. There's still 4 members. One of the carries still alive. Bang able to hit some shots open to CoreJJ. Turret running out of health as well. The cannon minions buffed up by Baron, going to knock that one down as well. And the siege, will it continue? And actually the answer is no. EG, off losing their mid laner, will choose to wait a little bit longer. Elder Dragon to 40 seconds.
Yeah, and they have a lot of gold to actually spend up here, so quite a bit in their pockets. They'll go back to base, they will reset for this, and again, there's no need for them to actually risk it. Could they have finished the game? Maybe. But here this is one more time. Kumo gets a nice knock up there over on the DoubleLift. The Consume is used. They do get the initial kill onto Jiizuke, but again, you can't get past Kumo. You cannot get past this front line. That is allowing Bang to just free fire. He does knock down Impact, and then it was kind of just the continued siege. The Mountain Soul shields come back up. They're able to regen that, and here we are over by this Elder. This is TL's maybe very last hope in this game. They've got to try to get something here.
Well, here comes the hope as poke goes back and forth. I think Elder Dragon can be a great equalizer. EG pushing in for mid lane priority. Keep in mind, no inhibitor in the mid lane, only one nexus turret. A straight up push down mid could end it, but first a hard engage. Double knockout comes in, damage to the Impact, and a lot of backline access as Ornn is very tanky. Impact puts up the shield, but he can run out of health as they're diving in towards the TL squishies. Impact staying alive though, kiting back, and Jensen doing a whole lot of work as well. TL are staying alive. How about round 2 of this fight as the cooldowns come back up? Can they find the damage? Team Liquid fighting admirably for such the gold deficit. DoubleLift hitting the Elder Dragon. There comes the knockup for Kumo. Poke in for Jiizuke. Shield comes in yet again. Redemption over the top though, and it means that EG will not be stopped. Kumo on the chase. Health bar low, but not getting worn down yet by the Ashe. Can't find the knockup, but the damage still not coming through. A double kill in for Bang. And TL just don't have the gold to kill the tanks. Here's the teleport. Here is the game-ending push. Jiizuke, sorry, it's Bang. Here to end it, and no one will stop him from talking down the Nexus. EG grab their 4th win. They tie for 6th, and TL fall to 3-6.
A damn well-played game there from Bang, and really all of EG. Bang sitting 7-0-2 at the end of that one. They could never get to him. Very cleanly executed poke comp here from EG, utilizing Jiizuke and Bang to always be pushing TL back to whittle them down prior to the fights. And you know, even in that final fight, TL kited that one out very, very well, but it's so hard to actually get through this Mountain Soul, triple Mountain Dragon in what was already an incredibly tanky front line. We really did see the objective control make the difference in this one. And EG, this is their best game of the split.
Yeah.
This was largely mistake-free. They had, what, 3 deaths? Really 1 death for most of the game? Like, this is really, really impressive, especially when you look at it and you think about what are the criticisms of EG? It's always them going off the rails, doing crazy stuff, giving over deaths, right? And that was not what we saw here at all. This was a very well-composed team that took down the 4-time reigning champs and made it look easy.
And TL are out of excuses. They've got their players here. It is time to put up or shut up, and it's not been a good look so far. Jet lag is no longer an issue. You've got to play well, and you know, you dropped a game to a team that was 3-5, so I want to see the growth for TL, and I want to see EG